Hi and welcome back. And congratulations to all of you Americans. You have your first American Pope. What the fuck? I don't know. That's great, right? And today we are reacting to everything we know about them already and how this happened and all of that stuff. And of course, I'm Christian, and I react to the leader of Christianity. So let's go.
We begin with history being made in Vatican City today. The first American Pope ever elected in the history of the Catholic Church.
So cool.
You see him there, Pope Leo XIV stepping onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome to cheers from tens of thousands of faithful gathered below, but also millions around the globe who awaited his arrival and his first message as the new Pope. Robert Francis Prevost from the United States stepping into the Sistine Chapel this morning as a cardinal and leaving as the newly elected 267th leader of the Catholic Church. And I want to go straight to ABC News' Maggie Rulli live in Vatican City.
It's crazy that there was never an American Pope, right? I think America is one of the most Christianic countries. I think a lot of many Americans, I think, go still to church. I think that doesn't happen at all, like in Germany, for example. And it's crazy that we have probably, I don't know how many German popes we had. I mean, we had at least one, Benedict XVI. But I don't know. It's crazy that there was never an American Pope.
More on this historic day. Maggie, good to see you.
DeMarco, so good to see you, be here with you. It's definitely emptying out a little bit behind me, as you can see, but the vibe is still there. This energy, this hope.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy yesterday.
To be here, the moment when we saw the white smoke and the bells ringing, letting the world know that there was a new pope. And even tonight, people still, we want to keep talking about it. And the fact that it was an American pope, people were stunned. They were thrilled. There was a jubilant atmosphere. But I think there's still a lot of questions now about what does this mean for the Catholic Church and what kind of papacy will he have?
Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, now the first American citizen to become the Pope. Born in Chicago, Prevost started his religious journey when he was sent by his order to Rome.
I think he's also became Peruvian, right? I think he has like a dual citizenship right now.
At Pontifical St. Thomas Aquinas University in 1982. 2 years later, he was ordained a priest before he left to serve in Peru.
There's never been a U.S. Pope. He has extensive experience in Peru, so I think he'd be also interesting to Latin Americans.
For 10 years, Prevost served in the Archdiocese of Trujillo, teaching Catholic law and holding various roles. Pope Francis elevating him to bishop in 2015. Prevost leaving an impression on Pope Francis, who elevated him further in the church, naming Prevost the president of the Pontifical Commission for Latin America, before finally making
That's so cool that it's kind of like what Franciscus, as we say in German, or I think you call it Pope Francis. That's like a little bit like the guy that he wanted, right? So I find it really cool that it's like really like his successor.
Cardinal in 2023.
I am American, and I think I do have some insights into the church in the United States.
Despite spending most of his career in Peru, the new pope never forgot his U.S. roots.
Should I stand aside and
Yeah. Well, learning more about now Pope Leo XIV. I want to bring in Colleen Dully from inside the Vatican. And, Colleen, we've been talking all night. I mean, I think people are still stunned.
I'm still stunned.
I was definitely like, I didn't expect this. I was rooting for this Filipino guy because I found it very cool when we have like an African Pope or like a Filipino Pope, because, nearly every Pope so far, or like all of them that I know, is European. And I would like that there's more people, like more diversity, because especially like Christianity is dying out in Europe and it's getting very, very more important in other regions in the world.
slowly wearing off as we get used to saying Pope Leo XIV more and more. But I think there's still this shock in the air, but it's turning into almost more of a thrill.
Yes.
Because now we know not only do we witness history, but we've witnessed the history of a new
Please hit like and subscribe. It would help me so much. Thank you.
American Pope. And I think we probably asked you this question every time you've been on, but we have to just start by saying it again. An American Pope.
Right.
What does this mean for Americans, for everyone here in Vatican City, for the future of the Catholic Church?
I mean, it's huge, right? Because this was such a thing that we thought could never be overcome. This idea, oh, you could never have an American Pope. And I think, you know, that was, everybody just kind of counted him out because he's American.
By the way, I didn't finish my sentence earlier. I rooted initially for them, but I also find that this is also a very good choice because, you know, it's somebody from North America born, but also lived a long time in South America. So it has a lot of diversity, which I really find good, like bring a little bit more swing into it. Of course, the earlier Pope was also South American.
No, this is a huge deal because America is such a superpower. And now, in this case, there is, you know, a cardinal from one of the superpowers of the world who is able to kind of deliver a message that in some ways goes against the message of, you know, the superpower, right? The consumerism and the, you know, some of the war making. He's going to be a voice for peace, going to be a voice for kind of the Christian message that I think will resonate differently, but will provide a different option, I think, maybe for American Catholics to point to say, you know, this is our guy. Yeah.
One of the things that we spoke about too leading into this moment was this whole idea of, will the new Pope be conservative? Will they be progressive? Will they follow in the way of Francis? Will they be more traditional? So do we know? I mean, does he have a track record? And what does that mean once someone becomes Pope?
Yeah, I mean, these categories are only so helpful when you get to an institution as complicated as the Catholic Church, right?
Yeah,
there's more than just one spectrum from left to right. There's like multiple axes, and we're working like 3D space. So anyway, I think that, you know, Leo, Pope Leo, which I'm still getting used to saying, in many ways, he's a lot like Pope Francis in that, you know, he has this experience.
I actually really like Pope Francis. I mean, not, of course, in the beginning, because he started out as the successor of the German Pope. And of course, we were very proud that we had a German Pope that then resigned, one of the very few people that resigned. But, you know, like what I heard from him, the videos that I saw, he was an absolutely cool guy. And I really liked him. And I hope that this could be like, extended now.
Experience of being very close to the poor. We've now been hearing about his time in Peru, that he was riding around to remote towns in the back of a pickup truck and like sleeping on a thin mattress, you know, just trying to work with people. And so I think there's that closeness to the poor, there's that concern for migrants, especially concern for peace, and a way of being bishop that's very like among the people. That feels very Francis to me. I don't know that that's necessarily left or right. And on the other hand, you know, he's nodding to some of the more traditional styles of the papacy. He wore the mozzetta. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I think that this is a pope who kind of defies categorization, and in that way was probably able to garner the support of cardinals from across the church political spectrum.
Let's talk about that one topic you mentioned, bishops, because that was something you pointed out to me, that Pope Leo XIV, how many times we say it before, Pope Leo spoke of in his first words to the public. So break that down for me a bit. What exactly did he say, and what does that mean for Catholics and their relationship with bishops?
Sure. So Leo is very much an advocate, and we've seen this in his work at the Synod on Synodality, which was like a big meeting of bishops. We saw this in his work leading the Vatican department that appoints bishops, that vets bishops. Basically, he is a proponent of the bishops, again, being among the people, like I said. And he referred to that in his opening talk. So he talked about, you know,
it's absolutely crazy how much the people cared yesterday on this place. They cried. They were absolutely nuts. And they were happy, I think, with every result, which is crazy because, you know, when you can't lose, why are you so emotional about it? But of course, that's of course a positive emotion, so let them be positive whenever they want.
To the people of his Peruvian diocese, and he said, you've accompanied your bishop along this path. And then he also made another reference to bishops kind of walking with their people. And so I think, you know, as a member of the Synod on Synodality, as a big supporter of that initiative of Pope Francis, he's going to be advocating for a kind of style of bishop that is less separate, less, divided from the people, kind of up in an office, and more the smell of the sheep, like Pope Francis always said, right? So it'll be interesting to see how that goes, especially with him as kind of the premier bishop of the world now.
As we're chatting, I realized how much forethought everyone is trying to predict, right?
Yeah.
Into what's going to happen into the future. I have a question for you that is somewhat selfish.
Sure.
Because it's going to let me know what I'm doing in the next couple days.
Okay.
What is immediately next, right? All of a sudden, we've been working up to this moment where we get a new pope.
Yeah.
What now? What's Pope Day 1 like?
Well, that's the thing. So the Vatican is an absolute monarchy, right? Everything is up to him.
That's so funny. It's the only elected absolute monarchy in the world. You have an absolute monarch, but you are elected. That is so weird.
So the journalists in the press office for the last more than a week have been asking the Vatican spokesman, hey, what happens? Do we get a press conference? Do we get, when will his installation mass be? That's all up to him now. So we have to wait and see. We really don't know. I think one thing that people are pretty sure will happen is that on Sunday at midday, he's likely to make an appearance just at the window that we can't quite see from this angle, but over there. So we'll keep an eye out for that. That'll be an important time to see what he says next.
Colleen, always so fascinating. I learned more from you, so thank you so much.
Thanks,
again.
Maggie.
Colleen Kelly from Inside the Vatican.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. Congratulations to being Pope. Congratulations so much. I hope you're proud. I think you can be. And yeah, that's it. I think probably this video won't get many views. Maybe I don't even post it as a regular video, but just to my Patreons and channel members. So if you are just the one seeing it, then cool. Hi. Yeah, and I hope you had fun, and I hope you're proud, and no, I hope we see each other in the next video. Until then, keep liking, subscribing, but if you're my channel members, then you have hopefully already did that, and bye! Thank you so much to Todd Phillips and all of the other patrons and channel members for your support. You're awesome.